So I guess, we obviously, for anybody that watched our live stream yesterday, people could see mostly Kurt and me, and a little bit of Nate also, going through the complaint by Dave Portnoy against Insider. So we'll just touch on it just for a little bit of TLDR, because we definitely spent enough time going over that complaint yesterday. Kurt, have you thought about that situation since our live stream yesterday?
Not in particular. I mean, I'm kind of still where I was yesterday. I think there's some problems in some of the complaint, but I think with respect to the filming elements, could potentially be a thing. I think there's some good defenses. So, I'm open-minded, but my initial answer is I don't think the lawsuit's going to go anywhere. But I'm not like saying that definitively.
Yeah. Sorry, my internet glitched out on me when you're saying, so you don't think that the lawsuit is going to go anywhere? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I think ultimately it will fail based on what I know at this moment.
Okay. I think that, I think I've sort of settled in on the claims about the claims about the violence of these encounters that he had. And okay, let me just make sure that everyone is aware of what we're talking about. So Insider came out with a couple articles, one in last November, one like a week ago, about Dave Portnoy having certain encounters with women that that they alleged got very rough and violent, started consensual, ended up not consensual at some point. And we talked a lot about consent and how there can be transitory consent, essentially. Like, you could be in the middle of an encounter, and if things kind of change down the road, somebody can revoke their consent if they gave it previously. Mm-hmm. And if they affirmatively revoke it, then any kind of continuing activity beyond that revocation is potentially problematic for the person that's continuing, because they're acting without somebody else's consent at that point, regardless of whether they had given consent before. So in this situation, it's not clear that there were any situations that he had with these women where they actually revoked consent that they had previously given. But, in terms of a defamation claim, he's got an uphill battle to begin with, because he's a famous person. He's very, very well known. So he's going to fall under the actual malice standard. He has to show that not only did Insider publish false information about him, but they did so either with knowledge that they were false or with reckless disregard as to the falsity, truth or falsity of the statements. So as to those encounters with the women, they talked to these women. They, probably saw receipts for certain flights that he had paid for at least one of them to come around. And so there's probably enough there for them to have relied on reasonably in order for them to escape liability as to those claims. But for the unlawful recordings, though, I the more that I've thought about it since yesterday, the more I think that he has a claim with that regard.
Yeah. Okay. I think because the articles were saying like that because everything the article said, I think, might be factually correct, that he didn't in fact obtain advance permission. Now we know that's not required, but as a matter of law, but they're not saying it was illegal. They're just saying that he didn't obtain it. And so a person might think that that's illegal and might think it's criminal, but I mean, what they're saying, I think they might be in the clear based on my understanding of the case at this point.
Okay.
I don't think they have to go out of their way to say it wasn't illegal. I mean, they can just say that, they didn't obtain the consent in advance for filming. They didn't obtain a consent in advance for specific sexual acts. That's not necessarily legally required, but, as a matter of various people's opinion on what should be the rules, various people think that might need to be required. So, I mean, I'm not convinced that they said anything that's factually false, and I'm not convinced that Yeah, that he can get where he wants to be, and I don't buy the invasion of privacy claim for 1 second. I don't buy that at all. I think that it's her text messages too, and I just do not buy he obviously shared it with her, and now it's hers to share. She doesn't have to keep it in confidence. To my mind,
Mm.
it's no different if he had told her the things and then she had gossiped to a bunch of girlfriends. Like, that's the same thing. She's communicating to third parties. I don't think it becomes different because of the scale. I don't think legally it becomes different. You know, if you're
I think
gossiping to a bunch of your friends in a wherever you have 10 of your friends and you're gossiping to, or you're gossiping to the newspaper, I don't think the scale makes a difference.
yeah, but he's not suing the woman though. He's suing the newspaper.
No, I understand. I was just trying to reason by analogy.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I was just trying to say I don't
I
think it
think
makes it
that's
any different.
hmm.
Like, if you told your friend and then she starts telling people, is she liable? And I don't think the answer is
Hmm.
yes.
But see,
I
I think there's probably different standards for your average girlfriend and a big newspaper that's out there on the internet.
I just don't
I
really
don't
think
know.
there are. With all possible
Hmm.
respect, I don't think there are. I
All
think
right.
it's one of those things where, to my mind, I'm not aware of any. And as a general default principle, the law treats everyone the same, regardless of other factors. So, that's not always true, obviously, but there's no difference that I'm aware of in defamation law where it would turn on the fact that the third party who's repeating it is professional, non-professional, a publication. I just don't think it makes any legal difference.
Hmm.
I mean, it would make a difference in the damages. So if it was viable, it would make a difference that way, because the
Yeah,
number of people
sure.
that would be reading it would be a lot more. So it would make differences in the damage calculation. But I don't think it makes a difference in the underlying liability.
Hmm. All right.
So
I'm
that's my
gonna
best
dig
legal
into
opinion.
some more research on that. I'm gonna dig into some more research on that to see if you are more right on that or if I am more right on that. I am totally open to the possibility that I might be wrong.